GeneralsGentlemen.
PolinaOP versus Valkyrie. Infinity Isle. So
it's really obnoxious text, actually.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just
actually
the
quite
coloring.
annoying.
I like the font, but not in that setup there. So Purple Isle is interesting. So the things with Infinity Isle is the old derricks are generally rather safe. Like, it's pretty much impossible to lose those if you time it right. Whereas on Fire Island, because the old derricks are centered, it's actually...
It's a lot easier to harass them than...
Yeah, you gotta fight over them. You gotta actually own them. You don't just have them for free.
Yeah.
So the thing is with Empire, or versing Empire, is you gotta have rocket troops. Because the cores, like, they will crush dogs and bears.
Then you have to make some rocket troops to be able to deal with them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But then if you overcommit, then you can lose to Imperial Warriors. They're very cost effective. Laser locking down the garrison is actually a good move. Because then you can garrison that and destroy the old derrick. Yeah, laser lock's so strong.
Seems pretty potent.
Yeah, it has a pretty long delay though.
Oh, okay, long charge up times.
Yeah, so it's hard to use on vehicles. It's more actually anti-building than anti-vehicle, unlike 0 Hour.
So dog comes in, I guess, for scouting,
it's for scouting more than anything.
Yeah.
He actually would have sent that, I think, along the water just so...
Well, no, he sent it along the ground. He kind of like slipped through the middle,
okay.
I think. I'm not sure. So I think I saw that.
Peacekeepers are coming through. So Peacekeepers versus Imperial Warriors. Imperial Warriors are stronger at range. Peacekeepers are stronger at close. They have a shotgun. They also do splash damage. So, like, when there's, like, really clumped up armies, the Peacekeepers are generally stronger. Imperial Warriors are faster because of the Banzai Charge. Banzai Charge will allow them to, like, one-shot the Peacekeepers, but when the shield comes up, the shield will make them invulnerable to the slash. So, a lot of micro back and forwards. Apollo will come out, going to be strong against the Mecha Tingus in the air. Actually very early. Generally you go Vindicators first. I think he just wants to scout, and it's also good against the burst drones too. Apollos are incredibly cost effective. Mecha Tengus aren't that cost effective anti-air. You can 3v1, but Tengus cost 800, Apollos cost 1000.
Okay.
So yeah, Apollos are really cost effective.
So even killing one would be like...
Yeah.
Decent. So yeah, Apollo's seem cool. So you normally go Vindicators first, don't you, for the air to ground?
Yeah, like that, because you want to bomb them. But the thing is though, is if you have Vindicators without Apollos, then then you'll just lose them. Yep. See, like that, they can snipe one, and then just retreat.
Yeah.
So basically, what happened there is the Vindicator can actually one-shot a Tengu. Oh, no, almost lost it. So what the Tengu did is he actually transformed to air mode mid-animation of the bombs. So that the bombs went through, but it didn't connect because he transformed. But then he transformed into the Apollos.
And the
Apollo just destroyed them.
I love this game.
The thing is though with the Apollos is that they need an airfield to repair and to reload. Where Tengus, they have no requirement, so you can just spam
them out.
So they're more spammable, but Apollos, they're just way more cost efficient.
So there are only 4 airport slots.
Yeah, so you gotta rebuild them. You can just build more airfields. That's the same for Soviets as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas there's no airfield for Empire.
It's capped.
Capped at 4. So here we go. We will see a lot of Tengus versus a lot of Apollos. He does realize he can't engage that.
Doesn't seem like a fun way to...
Oh no, he may actually just camp it on the ground, and then if he goes in ground mode, he can gun down. But actually 2 airfields. He's gonna have 5 Apollos. Now
really heavy air.
The awkward thing with this for the allied player here though is if he overcommits, the Tengus can just transform down on the ground and then just kill the airfield or kill the harvesters.
You have to have a nice
so you can't overcommit, because then you will just face Mecha Tengus on the ground. The Apollo was getting focused, so that the Vindicator getting focused. Multi-gun Javelin even is pretty strong against those air ones. Vindicator doing a lot of damage here.
When the Apollo's camping the field, it's really hard to actually switch the Tengus up into the air. Yeah,
that's right. Did Kid snipe one of these harvesters here though? So it actually lost a lot of Tengus, but for 2 harvesters, it will force him to rebuild them as well as then delayed mining. So that's not too bad. And what we could see is stop the Tengu production, start building some Chopper VXs, but then have the Chopper VXs on the ground mode to deal with those Apollos. Yeah. So yeah, this is actually like the common sort of like style and matchup. It's actually very air focused. Whereas then when it's Soviet versus Empire, it's more ground focused, as we saw last game.
Oh.
Allied are basically, like, their air force is their strength. That's their superiority. Whereas Empire is their versatility.
Some choppers coming out now. There was one big
Yeah,
build, but what are they called on the ground? They called
Striker
Striker
VXs.
VX.
So you probably leave them on the ground. But then if he does that, the Vindicators can just bomb them like that.
Yeah.
So you got to try and deal with that. And one of the
so many Apollos.
Yeah, a lot of Apollos. One of the weaknesses here though for Empire is that you actually don't have any anti-air infantry.
Oh, okay.
There's no like rocket troops. There's only the tank busters, but they're only ground to ground. In exchange, they're a bit more cost efficient. There are the base defenses, but they're also quite easy to get sniped by Vindicators. So you got to sort of make sure you don't fall behind in the critical mass of Tengus or Chopper VXs. Cryocopters can stun down, can freeze down the harvesters, shrinking the VXs. Loses a cryocopter though. Maybe even 2 of them here. Ooh, not very effective. They're quite expensive.
Right. So it's a pretty big.
And that wasn't a good trade at all.
Get out kind of thing. So.
Yeah.
Is that a pretty big tech investment as well, going for the cryos? Or,
not so much. It's only like tier 2. So it's not really that expensive. Cryocopters, they don't take up airfield slots as well. Bear that in mind.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
So they're the helicopters. So we do see the 3rd refinery. And that's actually quite risky. Going 4th refinery rather. He already has the 3rd.
So going for the water.
Yeah, it's risky in the sense that he can't use the Striker VXs. They can't walk on water. He can use them in the air, but then he will need the anti-air in the water. You can get the naval yard and get the sea wings. They're like submarines that pop up and fire anti-air, but they're not that great because they have a delay, so they're not very good against Vindicators that hit and run units.
I think he timed that refinery really well as well, because I think the Apollo scouted it and then backed away, but I don't know if they actually saw the refinery core actually going down.
Well, let's have a look at Valkyrie's vision. No, he sees it. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, he did?
I think so. Polina.
Okay.
So IFVs, they're anti-air vehicles. They're going to be good against the choppers. Riptide. So what he actually did is he shrunk his own unit because it gives you a speed boost, and then it'll time out.
Yeah, oh, nice. So he comes back up. Yeah, he's a lot closer now.
Yeah, you can also do that for your own MCV if you want to expand somewhere really quickly. First zone, just scouting just to see if there was a 4th, which there wasn't. Scouting is quite important in this game. Like, not so much the expansions, but composition. You want to see what you're versing, so you build the right units.
Tsunami tanks can be coming out as well now.
Yeah, tsunamis, they're very effective against the Riptides. But again, the problem is he can just keep bombing this. He can fly cryocopters over, freeze the refinery, and there's enough Apollos that Tengus won't be a deterrent. He's going to need to have the Defender cores or the Sea Wings.
So cryos are going to be freezing out some of this infantry here. Getting a few snipes down very nicely.
Yeah, a lot of those strikers though will actually force away the cryocopter. Won't take it out. Guardian tank trying to do as much damage as he can. Gets in the garrison, but he will clear it away with the Imperial Warrior Banzai charge. And not really effective push. He lost his whole army. He didn't really achieve much. And this will give the momentum for our Empire to push through. A lot of Guardians coming up though.
There's a lot of Guardians there.
Yeah, and with enough Apollos, he doesn't have to worry about those Chopper VXs, and he's going for the Refinery with his Riptide. I don't think that was a good choice, that halved the Refinery. Hasn't paid off yet. This Guardian Cannon Beam gives a damage amplification, does a lot of extra damage to that unit being focused. Choppers are in the air though. Where are the Apollos? They need to move in and force them off.
No idea what the Apollos are.
Did they get taken out or something?
I don't know how we would have missed it.
Oh, I don't know.
When was that?
They must have.
Oh,
here we go. They're the
Apollos.
Apollos. But now you can just transform back down and force the Apollos away. Because the strikers on the ground, they have the anti-air. And there's a lot of tsunami tanks here. And Imperial Warriors as well will also give some anti-infantry if there was those Javelin troopers, which there wasn't. Vindicator doing a bit of bombing run onto the tsunamis. Guardian tank still doing some pretty good damage, but losing a lot of these structures. Multi-gunner turret going to be dealing with the strikers, but there was too many of them.
Really, really close here. The Apollo's going to be moving in as well. No transforms coming out
as
well.
They have a timer, so you can't toggle it.
So you can't toggle it off and on.
Yeah, it's like a 30-second timer.
Nice.
So you can sort of force the transform and then abuse it.
That's very, very cool. So these bombs are being pretty effective.
Yeah, like that.
More
See?
Apollos taking off though.
The moment that you transform, we didn't actually engage that.
Coming back around.
Here we go. He's only lost it. If you don't have enough slots for your air units, then you can't rearm them. Takes out the Harvester as well. So this is a very effective push. That was a huge blow for Valkyrie, throwing that army away.
Fourth did get taken out, though, in the process.
The what?
The fourth got taken out. Fourth refinery.
Oh, yes, it did. Yeah. And so the tsunami tanks are still there. The little drone thing giving a shield, that's a support power. A fully heroic Guardian tank. Emperor's Rage gives a rate of fire boost in exchange for movement speed. So they're going to lose the heroic tank. Shouldn't have lost that one. He should have juked it around because it will heal itself. And having that heroic tank would have made a big impact. A fully heroic Vindicator as well. It's very hard to get that much veterancy. Cryo Shot will miss off to the side.
Unfortunate, but finally things are starting to fall here. The last tsunami is going to be taken out.
The Javelin's a good choice.
Going to move in to finish it off.
Because the tsunamis just don't have enough damage or knowledge of the VXs, so if there aren't Imperial Warriors, the Javelins are very effective.
So, effective push or nay?
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. Pretty cost efficient, like even army v army there.
Yeah,
a lot of those Guardian tanks.
He killed his War Factory, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, I think
he
so.
rebuilt that,
yeah.
killed his Harvester.
Really effective.
So
maybe it ended up being a few too many Apollos. I mean, now you've got... I mean, he's still got that critical mass Apollos. There's about 5 of them, so I guess you kind of always need that anti-air presence.
You do, otherwise you will have to deal with those VXs. And if they have that chopper VX count, they can go around sniping your Harvesters, sniping your MCV, and you don't want to let that happen.
Yeah.
They do shred buildings very quickly. So yeah, you want to have a nice mix of Apollos in, just in case. May lose a Cryocopter as well. And having the air superiority, it means that your Vindicators and your Cryocopters can reign supreme. Because if you do have the anti-air control, it can be hard to actually contest that as Empire. Because Cryocopters can snipe the buildings and the vehicles effectively.
Rocket Boot Engineer does get the capture in the middle.
Yeah, the observation post giving him a lot of vision. Look at that vision he has.
Wow, that's a lot of vision.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense.
That was in before Xenosaga Tower. StarCraft 2 was 2010.
Yeah.
Red Alert 3 was 2008.
Whoa.
So he's gonna laser lock you down.
Ahead of the curve.
Yeah. And there's some cool micro tricks as well. With a Guardian tank, the extra beam gives extra damage. So what that can often...
that's a secondary mode, is it?
Yeah, it's a toggle.
One of them, yeah.
It's often the difference between a Vindicator one-shotting and two-shotting. Because a Vindicator won't one-shot a Tsunami tank, but with the Guardian beam it will.
Cool.
So if you have like 3 Vindicators and you toggle the beam to target, like one at a time, you can kill them with a lot less units. So that actually stuns some tank busters and it zones away those Tsunami tanks. Won't be able to capitalize though, won't be able to take them out. And I do like this mix of tank busters, there's a lot of Guardian tanks. And what I like about Red Alert 3, it has a very fleshed out counter system, unlike 0 Hour. You do sort of respond to your opponent's unit mix. Now going to Peacekeepers to deal with the Tank Busters. Imperial Warriors, Banzai charging in as well here. Tank Busters weren't really firing properly, but they're ripping through these Guardian tanks. Tricopters are being focused by the Striker VXs. Another effective push here for our Empire. Loses his War Factory once again. His army is crumbling.
These Peacekeepers though still going to be firing away. Probably just the wrong units. So those Tank Busters are definitely still alive here.
What does Valkyrie have left?
Sure. It's a big push.
Yeah, I think this may be game over. There's a lot of Apollos.
Tri-beams are
that's a nice dog stun onto the infantry. We'll start to kill away all this infantry. He actually has a fully heroic dog now.
It's eating everything.
Yeah, and...
Do you not see it or
it's
something?
It's regenerating its own health. Gets taken out now, and the multi-gunner turrets will force away.
Wow,
and
that's
really nice because Tank Busters and Imperial Warriors are actually good anti-building. So they can take out the multi-gun turrets as they spawn.
Those dogs were munching for days.
Yeah, MVP dog actually held the line. Nice play by Valkyrie.
Saved it.
A desperate response. Because the dogs are so weak compared to bears, they get focused really easily.
That one just wouldn't die though.
Yeah, so it's still 3 refineries each. He didn't actually lose that harvester. He was mining
he held
the whole
on to
time.
that. That was very close.
And did he sell his MCV again? Oh wow, he sold his MCV.
Oh, okay.
Our Empire here, I still can't read that text,
Polina.
So he can't actually go for any more expansions. That being said, he doesn't really need to because, like, he can't get that expansion.
Yeah, the fourth just really didn't work out for him last time.
Yeah,
It was
but
the Bullfrog that dealt with it.
Yeah.
It was,
No, the Riptide.
no, Riptide.
But,
so many units.
Yeah, but what it will mean is if he loses a refiner, he can't rebuild it. So that's actually a bit risky doing that. So...
Any real way it pays off, or is it just kind of the cash bonus you get?
Okay, your cash bonus. Yeah, that's it. 2.5k. So it often gives you the momentum to put the pressure on. So it's a short-term move. Has 2 multi-gunner turrets. Bit of Peacekeepers. Needs to get some more Tsunamis, but more Guardian tanks. Because the problem with the Javelin Troopers is the Tsunami tanks can crush them, especially when Tsunamis pop their Nano Deflectors. They get a speed boost and regenerating health.
Nice.
So Javelins aren't that effective in this matchup, not against the Tsunami tanks because of that that speed boost. Tsunami tanks actually going for a flank. That's a good move because there's now 3 multi-gunner turrets. So he's going to flank away through the river, through the water, and now the Chopper VXs as well as the Tsunamis.
That's a really nice flank, actually.
That being said, there's a lot of Cryocopters, and he can use those to shrink or freeze the refinery and snipe it with a Vindicator. But he will need them to shrink and freeze the Tsunamis. And there isn't really a lot of anti-air. There are the Stroker VXs, though. That's what he's going to use. He's actually selling off these multi-gunner turrets. Naval Yard.
Naval Yard.
I wonder what tech Valkyrie has.
Valkyrie's going for the big push, though. He's going to be coming through onto this top refinery right now.
Yeah, doesn't actually have his tier 3. I thought he might have gone aircraft carriers. So here come the Cryocopters, gets the shrinks onto 3 of the Striker VXs. Tsunami tanks, I think the bad rally point was his problem. Cryo shot will catch 2 Tsunamis down. Striker VX is not very effective because they're shrunk, and now all 4 of them are shrunk. And when they're shrunk, they do such little damage, being destroyed by the Riptide because of the freeze.
All the Cryocopters just get for 1 survive, though. At least 2 of them do.
And there's just not really any anti-Tsunami tanks here. The Shrink has worn off on the Strikers. Loses the Harvester. There's a lot of Peacekeepers. They can get crushed, though. And those Cryocopters are rather low. They've got to be careful. They're being repaired by the airfield. They will get taken out. One of them at least. One still stands. Javelins are being built. He wants to have a critical mass of Javelins. He'd actually sell off his war factory. So I think he's going for Assault Destroyers. Assault Destroyers are an amphibious big tank thing. They're going to be very cost-effective against those Tsunamis. We'll lose the refinery. Probably the power plant as well. Oh no, Riptides. Strange. He does have a tier 1. He could go for the Assault Destroyers. Those actually would be a good response. He's going to have to try and rely on these Javelins. There's no Tengus at least. But still, the Tsunamis can just crush them.
Tank Busters could be holding the line in the middle, though, against the big pushes coming through.
Yeah.
So yeah, that third was taken out now. So now down to 2 is...
There we go. There's his Assault Destroyer. Selling off his Naval Yard. He's desperate. Doesn't want to lose this airfield. Because that's where his Apollos need to land. Shrinking more of these units. And that's the Black Shield. It absorbs all the damage into that. So you can use that to absorb the damage. Surprised he sold the airfield. Because his Apollos... I believe they start losing health. Yeah, I think they lose health if there's no airfield. I think. Maybe that's 0 hour.
There we go.
Well, here we go. Going in for the crushes. MCV will be the counter crush, though. How do you prevent the crushes? You crush the tanks in return. Nice response. He's the Alpha Crush.
The Alpha Crush.
Crushception. Yeah, that's actually a really nice response.
There. Yeah, that was real.
Otherwise, he would have lost all of his infantry.
Nice and
he holds on.
Seems to be the story of the day holding on, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just by the skin of his teeth.
He does have the MCV still. But I don't know if he can hold out. The onslaught continues. And this is a really well mixed army. Tsunamis, Imperial Warriors, Tank Busters, and Choppers. It's pretty much everything he needs.
The Striker BX is back at base as well.
Yeah,
could very well be the last push. Plus, with no airfield to land on, unless I'm mistaken, the Apollos are only going to really have 1 battery of missiles to fire.
Yeah. It does actually last a while, and I think, again, because it's more of a deterrent, he won't really use the ammo as much as having the Apollos prevents the Chopper VXs from actually making their plays happen. Here's the Assault Destroyer, trying to crush down the Harvester. Being focused, Apollo's out of position, losing that one for free. That's a problem now, because that was a deterrent. It was keeping the Tsunamis at bay. He really should have had his Apollos nearby. There was no reason why they wouldn't have been there. I've lost them now. Where are they?
Pretty unfortunate. Oh, there's a new airfield.
Yeah.
There's a new airfield.
So they don't actually time out, apparently.
That is 0 hour, so...
I know they're doing 0 hour.
If you don't have it on guard mode...
I think if it's there out of ammo, then maybe they then deteriorate. I don't think Valkyrie can hold here. He can actually put the Peacekeepers in the multi-gun turrets, and that's like a shotgun on the turret.
Nice.
It's pretty strong. a good AoE damage. Wants to find some more crushes here though, needs to have the MCV. Nice cryo getting even, it's upgraded now, it's very, very powerful, and it's blocking off the reinforcements here.
All those VXs are going to be moving into it as well, there's so many icy units there, can you capitalize?
And look at the Crycopters freezing everything. Tsunami tanks are being destroyed. Imperial Warriors though, Banzai charging a lot of the Peacekeepers and the Javelins. Crycopters definitely making an impact onto the Tsunami tanks. Power plant being destroyed. Still, the army is too big.
Javelins were trying to hold the ground there, not really being that effective though.
Yeah, and I think that
might be game now.
Maybe game over here. We'll lose his other refinery.
What's he stalling out for, really?
I don't know.
Any idea?
I don't think he really has anything. He has 3 Cryocopters. But there's still enough Chopper VXs. He can actually
really nice cryo show, just couldn't capitalize and destroy their
he didn't.
Units, so.
There's only 3 strikers, so you actually could just shrink all 3 of those.
Go Polina, go.
Yeah, there we go. There's a shotgun. See, look at that splash, it's really effective.
Yeah.
Oh, 5 Cryocopters even, but he's gonna need to use them against the strikers. They drops one of them. Shrinking them now.
Shrinks are a little bit late though, at least one of those Cryocopters is going to be taken out. Can he hold the line? Looks like he may be able to. A lot of frozen units there. Last strike hasn't actually been shrinked yet. Shrunken.
No, it's still firing its full damage. It's shrinking the Tsunami tanks. But there's nothing to really capitalize apart from a handful of those Peacekeepers. There comes a Mecha Tengu. Apollo's not quite in position. There goes the last of the Cryocopters.
MCV's getting close as well.
Valkyrie's desperate. He wants to hold on. But it
Apollo's
seems
are now moving in.
Polina is victorious. Managing to finally take out the MCV. That's the good thing about Red Alert 3. It's not over until your MCV is down. Because your MCV is a massive weapon. It crushes everything in its path. Yeah, it can't fire with the drones, but it will time out. There we go. And the GG.
Kill.
Yeah.
An interesting game.
Yeah. I think...
I just am not hating Red Alert 3.
No, it's pretty good.
I'm not hating it.
Pretty close game. I think Valkyrie was fine until he threw away that army.
Yeah.
And then when that happened, Polina just had enough momentum to keep punishing Valkyrie. So I think if Valkyrie, like, rather than doing that, if he teched up, got his Athena cannons and started harassing, they're very, very effective.
Could have been nice.
Yeah. Wow.
GG.
GG.
I've enjoyed my little foray into
Red Alert 3 is fun, and it's very similar to 0 Hour. They're good for the same reasons.
Yeah.
They're both very micro-focused. It's all about, like, interesting interaction and quirky mechanics and quirky abilities.
Seems like even more so in, like, Red Alert 3.
Yeah, rather than 0 Hour.
Yeah.
0 Hour is more, like, technical, like, whereas... Yeah, Red Alert 3, there's a lot of ability use, and that's what I really like about it. There's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of really high APM situations, which I really enjoy. I also really like, again, I mentioned it before, the counter system in Red Alert 3. It's a lot more dynamic. 0 Hour is just spam of the same units.
Yeah.
Humvees, quads. I mean, I think Empire vs. Empire is really broken. It's Tengu spam for days.
Oh, really?
Tengu spam for days. Yeah, that's a terrible matchup. I hate it so much. But that's kind of it. Apart from that, it's good matchups. Yeah, it's literally just Tengu spam. 100%. 100% Tengu spam. Yeah.
Cool.
It's so bad. But yeah, it's great other than that. And I do also like how it integrates naval, air, and land into...
all together.
Yeah,
in
a very shared dynamic, whereas, again, 0 Hour, it's pretty much, like, air units supports ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
games
we'll wrap this up. We may even do a third game. Do you want to do a third game?
I mean, if you'd like to.
Alright, we'll do a third game. Alright.